It's WNCW live music from Studio B from Jonathan Scales and the Fourchestra. Contortionist Ballet, is that?
Contortionist Ballet, yes.
Yeah. So that's a new song.
It's a new song. It's probably been written in the past month and a half or so.
Are you writing now? Do you write for trio or do you write for different configurations?
Really, I think at the root of it is more of like a jazz approach where there's the tune and everything's based around that, like an arrangement,
Right.
So whether it's 3 of us, 4 of us, or 10 people, the tune is still there, and the arrangement will change at that point. But
Right.
I didn't really write it, I say, with the trio in mind or quartet, but since we are a trio, that's where it is right now.
I got you.
Currently.
Yeah. You said something earlier about pursuing your musical vision or something like that. I wondered, are you one of these guys where it's like this straight arrow and you know where you're going, or are you weaving all the time?
I'm a very focused person. I don't know if it's like one of those Virgo things or one of those kind of crazy things, but at any point I do have what I'm set out to be doing. Whether that's what ends up happening or not is another story, but I definitely am very, one-track mind, focus, looking down the tunnel, trying to get towards where I'm trying to go to.
Yeah. So what's next?
Let's see.
Tonight.
Tonight is next.
Yeah. Is it that? I mean, is that how you're taking it, or do you like a year from now? Do you know where you're going to be?
Well, really, this whole thing to me is like what we're doing now is really what I want to be doing for the rest of my life, except just, progressing, if that makes any sense. Like I still want to be touring, and I still want to be writing music, and I still want to be a composer, and I still want to play steel drums with Phil and Cody. Yeah. So, I'm lucky to do what I'm doing now, but I would like to continue to do this.
Right. I was going to give a shout out. Cody Wright on bass and Phil Bronson on drums. And they're great. Where'd you find this band?
I'm gonna let Cody tell his story about how he ended up in my band.
Well, I actually came to Jonathan when I was a senior in college at Warren Wilson. I heard about what he was doing, and I thought it was really cool. And at the time I played guitar, I didn't even touch the bass, really. I mean, I played a little bit on my own recordings. But I contacted him and asked him, you know, I just basically told him that I would be interested in playing with him someday. And he said, well, we already have a guitar player, and, you know, he already had a great band going at the time. And anyway, a couple of months later, I got a text from him and asked me if, exactly what it was, asked me if I wanted to play bass, you know. And at first I was just like, no, I'm not going to sell out. But I thought about it a little while, and it seemed like the kind of challenge that life gives you that you have to kind of rise to. So I thought about that for a while, and I texted him back, and I said, yeah, you know, I'll give it a shot. So I was still in college. I was actually finishing up there. All the while I had to, you know, go audition, and we started playing a couple of shows while I was still in school. And after that was last year, you know, after that, we started going out on the road, and the rest is history. Been developing a lot since then.
So you started as a bass player with this music?
Yes.
Wow. You picked some kind of tricky stuff to start on, didn't you?
Like I said, you know, it was one of those challenges, man. You know, you have to be able to rise to those things sometimes, and I feel like that's the fastest way to grow is to just jump into the fire.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Phil, when'd you get started? I don't know if Phil can talk into the mic or not.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. You got any good stories about the band?
Well, I guess me and Jonathan met at the Rocket Club when that was still happening. So I met a lot of people in Asheville, and Jonathan was one of them. And actually, like the first time we met each other, I already had his first CD, and I just came up to him. I knew who he was. I was like, "What's up, John?" Hey, who's this girl over there? He's like, "That's my wife."
Yeah, I remember you trying to hit on my wife. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
So that was our first
That was our
interaction.
first
First introduction. The snake on the drums.
I didn't talk to her at all, but I inquired.
So then he hired you? Is that
Then he hired me after that. That was
So I like your attitude.
You have good taste. I like this, man.
As a drummer working with a steel drummer, I mean, this kind of the same. Y'all coming from the same place, kind of.
Yeah, a lot of playtime.
Yeah.
But a mutual friend, Jacob Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, one of them
It's
Spanish names.
It's okay, Phil.
He's been practicing Spanish. I can't do that. I'm working on it. Anyways, Jacob recommended me when Jonathan needed a drummer, and I already knew most of the tunes, so I came and basically like played down the album with him.
Yeah, that was really strange, actually. Like
He knew your songs.
he knew the songs. I was like, wait a minute, how do you know this stuff? This is crazy. How do you know my song? This is weird. And so pretty much I had no choice but to hire him at that point.
Because
But
he's the only
before
drummer
that-
around who knew him, right?
Yeah, well, before that, you know, we had Ryan Laster on the drums,
Right.
and he was in Uncle Mountain.
Mhm.
So he had to do the Uncle Mountain thing, and I was just kind of moping around the house in my pajamas, like all day, every day. Like, what am I going to do in my life? You know, it's pretty hard music to play on the drums, and who's going to do it?
Yeah.
And then, you know, Jacob told me about Phil, and I was like, you know, whatever. I guess I'll try him out.
And then he knew all your songs.
And then he knew all the songs, and I was like, all right, well, that's cool.
That's a good story.
That's all right.
All right, so that is the Fourchestra, Jonathan Scales and the Fourchestra playing live in Studio B today. Again, in Bristol, Tennessee at Machiavelli's tonight. They are at the Grey Eagle in Asheville tomorrow night, along with Casey Drees. And also, they'll be doing a Beatles song June 16th at the Tosca Music Party up in Charlotte. And more information at the website as well, which is johnscales.com.
.com.
Cool.
Well, I just tell people to Google it these days because
Yeah, I
that's
know.
that's like the easiest way to get
It
to
is,
it.
I
you
know. I'm behind the times. You can
Come
link
on
up
now.
with Jonathan's website from our website today, which is wsw.org. So, yeah. And there's a lot of YouTube stuff out there, too, if you're
Yes.
curious to see what. And hopefully we'll have a video of this up on our YouTube website as well here soon. So, one more song today, Jonathan.
We're going to do Pangrass, which we actually did the first time I was here in '07. So we're bringing it back.